Hello, Conquerors, and welcome. It's Sonica Williams, Ask Coach Sen, your host for the Conquer Business Spotlight tonight. If you are tuning in for the first time, you've never been to the Conquer Network lives before, I want to welcome you to a community where we support women entrepreneurs to build mental wealth for their business. So we're doing another Conquer Business Spotlight tonight. Actually, we have two spotlights tonight, and these are fabulous women entrepreneurs who I've known from networking events, from working together, from doing events together. All of the women that are on these spotlights are women that I've worked with, and actually two of them were former clients as well, if you tuned into those. So welcome. Let's see who we have here tonight. Hey, Simple Complex is here. We're going to be announcing her because she's our first guest. Thank you for those of you who joined in. I see K Drama is here. Coency, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I'm just going to say hey to you all. Welcome. It's Friday night. Woohoo! It's Friday. So let's talk about our guest tonight. I gotta say, I just met her recently. However, I'm just like, wow. Clarrissa Hazel, she's a psychotherapist and she's a supervisor for future therapists. And when I tell you, mind blown when I met her. I meet people that I'm impressed by, but she was like, I'm about to start this business. And I'm going to do it in the next, I think she said 2 weeks or something. But I'm going to bring her on in a moment. I'm going to go ahead and read her bio for you. Clarrissa Hazel, she's a master levels licensed mental health counselor in Florida. She has a bachelor's degree in psychology from the University of the Virgin Islands. Woo-hoo. Now, upon completing her master's degree, she worked in addiction for the next 14 years. And it was during that time that Clarrissa realized that she wanted to provide direct education and support to individuals and families, and she became licensed in 2011. Clarissa's passion is to help individuals and families identify their strengths and simplify any complexities that life may throw their way. So that's why the name of her business that she founded is Simply Complex Therapeutic Services. So I see that she's here. Let me pull her in. Fabulous Clarrissa Hazel. Yes, somebody said, woo woo, yeah. So if you're on here for the first time, we like crowd participation. So if you are, hey, welcome, woo!
Hi, guys.
Hello, welcome on this Friday evening. I'm so happy that you took your time out. I value any entrepreneur who comes on because I know time is money. You're so busy doing all these things, and time is of the essence. So I do appreciate you coming through.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We like crowd participation. We want to know what you do if you're an entrepreneur. If you're even thinking about being an entrepreneur, we want to know what your business is, like your industry and where you're located. You never know. You might get a client from posting on here. That happens sometimes. And for our speakers, if they say something that you really like, drop a gem in the comments. If they say something and you're like, ooh, that is good, leave a notepad in the comments. And if you just want to support this queen, drop those crowns in the comments. So let's go and get started. Welcome, Clarrissa, to the Conquer Business Spotlight.
Thank you for having me, Sen. I appreciate it.
So I started telling them a little bit about your bio and that I recently met you. What was it? In February, I think? Was it?
Around the end of January, yeah.
End of January. So I have been doing these spotlights on women that I've met through networking. We met at a retreat, and at that retreat, you made a very bold decision that you were going to go full on and launch your practice. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today, guys. We're talking about launching in 30 days and taking that leap of faith. So this is like your Conquer story.
Absolutely. Because it's one of those things where I have been thinking about it for a very long time, but, was afraid to move forward, not sure what to do, reading all the posts, joining all the chat groups. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that one day. And then I joined that therapist retreat, and I was like, okay, I am going to at least do something to step forward. And I was really motivated by the group of women that were there. And it really helped me to make the decision to put into practice the thoughts that I really wanted to be able to launch this business.
What do you think it was that kind of held you back or maybe scared you or stalled you? You know how people say they get stuck. What do you think it was that you didn't, already go forward and do this?
I want a big part of it was fear. I've been working in the community for so long in reference to having a support system. You have a supervisor, you're working in a residential setting. So you have all these other safety nets in place with other colleagues and so forth. And launching into a private practice sounded so much like I will be doing it on my own. And it was something that I was like, I don't know if I don't have a support system with this, if I would be able to do it. And I think being able to see other individuals at that retreat launch on their own, but they did have a support system with other people that were in different stages of their own businesses, really led me to believe like I can do this, and it doesn't have to, I can do it on my own as in a private practice, but it doesn't mean that I won't have support to be able to do it within the community. And I know I have the skills to do it. I've had lots of individuals that have come to me and like, when are you going to be doing your outpatient services? And I was like, you know what? Others have believed in me that I can do this. And now it's time for me to believe in myself. And the same thing was happening with supervision. I was supervising interns at my job, and it was like, why aren't you getting paid for this? Like, I would refer people to you. And I was like, okay. So that's been sitting at the back of my mind for a very long time. And I was in the process of making some decisions in 2020 when everything was on lockdown. And on my birthday in 2020, I was like, okay, I'm going to start the paperwork to do this. And then just being able to push past that fear and say, whatever happens, I'll take it slow and take it step by step. And being with that group kind of pushed me, because there was so much love and support in that room to be like, you already know what you have to do. You have this, you have it. And, my family's always been behind me. So it really was up to me to be like, all right, you gotta get on there. You have all this support. There's nothing actually holding you back but yourself.
Wow. So we heard that you had fear holding you back. Even though
Absolutely.
you're a therapist, sometimes people think for some reason that therapists like don't have normal emotions. I don't know if you've ever gotten that.
Yes. Yeah,
Like,
definitely got that.
back.
Absolutely. I think that's the beauty of helping others, is when they finally realize, the therapist, that you too are human, but that you are trained to be able to push past your own insecurities and be there for another person. It's a good place to start with your clients, because they come in with these preconceived notions that you're going to fix them, and they have the tools themselves. Fear might be the thing that's holding them back from making that step forward. And I know from experiencing it that it's something that you can get through. And so being able to support families and individuals in that journey, to be able to say, you can get through this, and you have you have the solutions within you. It's that you have never had to look at them, and intentionally look at the support systems and the things that you have around you that can make it possible. But ultimately, it's going to be up to you to make the move to say, this won't hold me back anymore, and I want to be able to make a difference in my own life. And I think me being able to do that in this instance really is something that I want to also share that skill set with those that I will be helping in their sessions, or in, getting through their licensure.
Yes, yes. So for those who just tuned in, what you are saying is, one, you had fear, but you said it and you kind of went past it. You were more focused on the people that you wanted to serve instead of your own fear. You can't serve them if you're focused on your own fear.
Right. So I really had to put that aside and be like, I know I can do this. I know I've done it for so many years. even though it was in a very cocoon setting with a residential program, but my clients have had success working with me, and my intentionality and being relatable and meeting a client where they're at, that I couldn't understand why this fear was holding me back. And it just came to a point where there was just a switch that says, okay, you can't do this anymore. You teach your clients that they have within them to move forward, and you actually have to now practice what you've been teaching all this time. Because you see that it works, so why not use it on yourself?
Absolutely. You see that it works, so why not use it on yourself? And you want to know what's really interesting is that when we have jobs, and I don't know, you can tell me if this has happened to you or not. We have jobs, they ask us to do things that we've never done before, that we really don't know how to do, but we figure it out.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. It's like, oh yeah, okay, sure, I'll make that work. And you come out at the end and everybody is praising you like, oh my God, you did such an awesome job. And in the back of my head, I'm like, if you only knew how I had to push myself to be able to make sure that this got accomplished. And I think that's true for everyone that's seeking therapy, is that on the outside looking in, for many people, they may appear to be fine, doing well, but they're really pulling on some inner strength to be able to move forward and be successful and do what they need to do. And so being there to be able to support them, for me, is really a great blessing, because I have been blessed so many times in seeing how individuals who I know have it in them finally realize it for themselves. And it's always an amazing journey to see somebody kind of flourish under, just a little bit of support and being able to kind of get them to think about themselves in a different perspective. And I've seen how that has worked for me. And that's how that's one of the foundations of how I do therapy as well. Very supportive and drawing from the strengths that you already show and what you're capable of doing. Because you know yourself better than I do.
You're absolutely right about that. Sometimes people will ask that, right? They'll be like, oh, I'm going to go to therapy. Are they going to change me? And it's like, you're not supposed to be changed, right? What's supposed to happen is they're pulling out your strength. So I like that you said that you focus on their strength. So for whoever's tuned in now, you just launched your therapy practice. And I'm not even exaggerating, you guys. Like, she really just did it in like 2 to 4 weeks.
Correct, yeah. It was literally 2 weeks after the retreat. I was like, I'm launching on this day. And I will say it was awesome to have accountability partners. I think that's also really important when you're about to step into anything new, is that by speaking it out, you not only, make a commitment with yourself, but you have other people that really help and support you in, you said it now, I'm going to make sure that you're working on it. And I think as therapists, we do the same thing for our clients. And for me, I also do the same thing with the individuals that I supervise. Is I think I keep going back to it, but for me, I always look for a strength that somebody has. And that thing, once somebody taps into that, you can't touch them. You cannot touch them. And so it's really amazing to kind of see it in myself. And it happens in ebbs and flows. Like, I'll feel really successful in this area of my life, and then I'll feel really insecure about this area of my life. And then there comes a time where you're like, but will you want to stay stuck there? Or do you want to identify and move forward and actually do something about it? And I think that's the biggest piece about being unstuck, is that you make a conscious decision to say, I may not know how, but I know that I don't want to be here anymore. And, talking to people about that, you keep moving. Yeah. Yeah. So that, it was really amazing.
Did y'all hear that? I don't know how. That isn't that what gets people stuck? I don't know how. I don't know how, but I know I don't want to be here anymore.
Exactly.
I love it. So I want you to share with everyone in your therapy practice, tell them about who you're supporting in your therapy practice and who you're supervising as well, and how they can reach out to you.
So My practice is focusing on individuals who are really looking for assistance and that support in moving through different stages in their journey. So there's time, for example, preteens and between preteens and young adults, they're in that in-between phase where they're like, who am I? What do I want to become? I'm stressed about this, and everybody around you is, you're too young to be stressed. I had that spectrum, and then I have for adults different situations that you may go through. I have been working in substance abuse for a long time, but that's because residential, that's an easier practice for you to get involved in. But I've been trained in mental health counseling. I've been trained in marriage and family therapy. And so being able to really launch into working with young adults and families to kind of help them come together and be their better selves, that's really important to me, to see young people shine and see them really come to, to be strong in who they are as individuals and feel confident in who they are and in the situations that they find themselves. And it's funny because it ties so much into the mental health licensure supervision that I have been doing, because for many years in the residential setting, we have interns that come in and they need to have a supervisor. And I've noticed that I love to teach and mold and help people kind of understand how to be their best selves and best clinicians. And I think it's the same base. It's basically helping an individual become confident and being their best selves in whatever they choose to accomplish. And so whether it's for licensure to help them become comfortable as becoming a clinician, or it's an individual that is seeking how to become confident as an individual in every area of their lives, I basically, that's the same approach that I take regardless of who I'm working with, is being able to help you get through that next step, that next journey, build that confidence, create those boundaries that you need, whatever it takes for you to feel that at the end of your sessions, you feel confident that you are who you want to be and that you can continue to walk in that.
Okay. I usually say I want to leave everyone off with a conquer prompt, something that is a quote that you go by, that you really enjoy, a quote, a scripture, or just your words of what you want people to take away from today. I know you just said a whole bunch, but is there any like things that you want to share?
I have two that automatically came to mind. The first one was, if you want something you never had, you have to do things you've never done. That's been one thing that have always helped me when I'm stuck, to push me forward. And then when I was thinking about building my practice, the thought about turning complexities into simplifying complexities was another really big part, because everybody has these things they feel are very complex in their lives, but when you break it down and you simplify a situation and make it manageable, it's no longer a complexity for you. You can work on it in your bite-sized moments and get through anything. So those are my top two that I really go by, is being able to, if you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done, and continue to work on simplifying the complexities of life. Those are my top two.
I love it. Thank you. If you guys love that, her conquer prompts, drop those gems in the comments. If you want to support her, drop those crowns in the comments. Or if you were taking notes, jotting stuff down, drop that in the comments as well. You're getting those crowns and those notepads. So
I see. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So now people are going to want to contact you after they watch this on the live and the replay. How can they reach out to you and find you?
So my email account is simplycomplexts@gmail.com. You can also go to simply-complex.clientsecure.me, and you can always schedule an appointment there, and we can get to talk. There's free consultation for the first, so you can kind of get to see me, get to know me, see if we're a good match. The contact number also is 954-281-2926. And I'm on Instagram at simplycomplexts, LinkedIn under Clarrissa Hazel. I'm on Facebook. Just look for Simply Complex TS. And those are some places you can find me. And I look forward to working with anyone that would like to really take the next steps into becoming a stronger individual and, work through things that they may just need some feedback and some support with as they build on the strengths that they already have.
Thank you so much for giving us your time today. And thank you all for those of you who tuned in. Thank you, Clarrissa. Yay!
Thank you, Sen, for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Congratulations on your launch, and I wish you much success in 2021 and beyond.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks, guys, for coming in and supporting me. I appreciate it. For those of you in the chat room.
Awesome. If you guys like this Conquer Business Spotlight, we have 2 more coming up. We're doing 1 more tonight, and then we have one to close out Women's History Month next week. Do set your notifications for updates. The Conquer Network supports women entrepreneurs in building mental wealth for business growth. We are a community, and as Clarrissa said, you need accountability partners, you need community, and you need to know that you're not alone in this. We don't just talk about business, we talk about the entrepreneur emotional journey, right? We talk about what happens behind the business, what happens in the mind, what happens in your heart, all the stuff you go through to make it work and make it happen. So take care. You guys have a great week and weekend and a successful 2021. Peace and blessings.
Have a great night, guys.